speaking gigs and sponsorships. And they were all down.
The week started with a trip to Kruje. I had a handful of things I wanted to get done on the van, so I went to the most reliable handyman that I know, my friend Tommy. Tommy showed me around the updates he had done on his house since the last time I was there, and then we got to work on the van. I wanted to install a backup camera. I didn't need anything fancy, just wanted a way to see where my trailer hitch is so that I don't run into anything while backing into a parking spot. I had a close call recently and realized that because of how the van is built, I have difficulty seeing where the back bumper is, especially when whatever is behind me is lower to the ground.
Took off this little cap and there's not a screw behind it, it's just a hole.
So we spent some time figuring out how and where to wire it up, while Tommy's kids ran around us and played inside the car.
It's just a wire.
It's just the one little wire.
That's the only wire?
Not this is all.
And not just
Go
being in your
grab
way.
a push your plastic thing.
Huh?
I'm gonna grab a piece of plastic.
Oh, just shove it in? Okay.
Ow. Just a stab of
just not
that fiber wood.
Able to lift it.
Because it's in the way of the other thing. You can't lift it until we get that other track. It's gonna be what it is.
I feel like that's not going to be big enough.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Slightly less ghetto, but still a little odd.
And as we were getting close to wrapping up, the clouds that had been swirling since I arrived started to leak, and it wasn't long after I got back on the road that the downpour started.
Yeah. I'm just grabbing my stuff.
The weather the first weeks of September was all over the place. One minute it would be raining with chilling winds. The next, the sun would burst through the clouds with enough heat to make you start sweating, your rain jacket clinging to your skin like plastic wrap.
I did not leave the house prepared for this kind of weather. I need to not trust the weather app. Legitimately thought it was going to be a decent day, and this is awful.
The weather today has been nothing short of bipolar. The sun is very bright right now, and about 5 minutes ago, it was just downpouring. But I guess this is September in Pogradec. That's what happens. I enjoy rain in certain situations, especially in this time of year where the temperatures are dropping slightly and the rain helps give an atmosphere of coziness inside. It also clears up the air and makes the views around the lake spectacular.
I've received a letter from the United States, and I believe it's from my niece. So let's open this and see what we got going on. She has been practicing her A's all over this page. That's fun. She drew me, I feel like something got wet. I don't know if it's this or the package. She drew a picture and signed her name. Sent some photos of her first day of preschool, sitting on the front porch with her brother. Some other things and drawings. That's so fun. It's so fun to get stuff like this. Oh, they're playing... Maybe they're playing tennis? The rackets, and then they both have a ball, and then there's a net. Or, if those are not a ball, maybe it could be tennis, it could be racquetball, it could be... what's that new one? Pickleball. There's a chance it could be basketball or volleyball. That's fun. They're playing sports.
And one afternoon in mid-September, I headed to the airport to pick up a special guest. After a canceled trip a few years ago due to the pandemic, my mom had finally come to visit. After a short time in Pogradec, my mom and I headed to Vlore. A friend of mine had offered to let us use his apartment for a few days while he was out of town, so I jumped at the opportunity. And I had a wedding to attend in Dhermi, so I left my mom to catch up on sleep and relax a bit in the apartment, while I headed south along the coast. The location for this wedding may have been one of the best I've ever been to. It looked like part of the city had been privately bought and then turned into a hotel. The exterior of the rooms looked like old houses, and the walkways between them may hold stories of past centuries. You genuinely couldn't have asked for a better place for a wedding celebration.
Hey, looky there. Good, how are you? Good to see you too.
I met Ben in my first year of living in Albania. I had seen a video he posted on YouTube passing through Pogradec and commented that he should let me know next time he was here. So we communicated back and forth through Instagram for a bit, and before long we met up for coffee. At the time, there weren't many people posting on social media about Albania, and I thought we might get along. I didn't realize just how well we would get along though. Despite not living in the same city, Ben and I became fast friends, and because I would visit him when I would go to Tirana, I naturally became friends with his then-girlfriend Fee. I had no idea that that YouTube comment would lead to my attending their absolutely breathtaking wedding a few years later. didn't know many people at the wedding, and because I'm naturally more of a reserved and quiet person, it was daunting to be there with so many people around. Thankfully, as I walked around a random corner of the hotel, I saw a friend, Adam, that Ben had introduced me to a couple years ago, who, coincidentally, had also met Ben because of social media. So I spent most of the evening chatting with Adam and his wife and meeting a few new people. And after dinner, the party really started. And it wasn't long until it became a bit too overwhelming for me. So after saying my congratulations, I headed back to Vlore through the dark and empty roads. The next morning, my mom and I spent some time wandering the streets of Vlore. I showed her a few of the historical landmarks that I know of in the city where Albanian leaders gathered to declare independence over 100 years ago, and tried to give her a taste of what life looks like there, or as best I could tell.
Independence Monument, I guess I should call it.
My mom wanted to get away from her normal day-to-day life in the States for a bit, because she had papers to work on for her PhD. So when I was visiting with my family back in January, I suggested that she come and stay in Albania. I knew a place that she could stay that would provide meals for her, and she could spend time focusing on writing. And then, when she wanted a break, we would go off on small adventures to show her parts of the country.
This looks so much different than when I was here before. That's crazy. I haven't been to Vlore that much, but I definitely haven't been to this place before, where to walk. Really nice once the trees get bigger. What are you doing? Climbing over the fence. It is.
So after walking around the city a bit, introducing my mom to Pogradec, and marveling at a breathtaking sunset, we headed to a local restaurant to meet up with some friends. Friends that I've communicated with via social media for a number of years, but hadn't had an opportunity to spend much time with. So we ate our fill of traditional food, including some of the best pork ribs I've ever had in Albania, and got to bed so we could rest up before the upcoming adventures.
Phone eats first.
On our way from Vlore back to Pogradec, we stopped by the ancient city of Apollonia and St. Mary Monastery.
Yeah, I think it's just a map for in here. They certainly do love their mosaics in this country.
I guess the people.
I have no idea.
While the monastery itself was built much more recently, the actual city of Apollonia was a trading settlement established in 600 BC, about 10 kilometers inland from the Adriatic Sea.
Oh, yeah. Right. It's interesting because when we were, like, these places that we're looking at...
It still wrinkles my brain every time I wander around one of these ancient sites in Albania. People traded, worked, and lived on these grounds over 2,500 years ago. When I see the crumbling walls and the weather-worn stones, I can't help but think about all the stories that they hold. What kind of people walked these streets and sat in these amphitheater seats? What kind of lives did they live? And I know I could do lots of research and reading to understand it all as closely as possible. But part of me loves the mystery of not knowing. I love being able to let my imagination run free through these ruins, spinning tales of life from millennia ago. Sites like this are scattered all over Albania, and this region is referenced by ancient philosophers and historical documentation. And yet, many of them are just off on the side of the road, long forgotten and largely ignored by the busyness of modern life. I am just as guilty of it as anyone, but when I take a second to slow down and think about what took place on this very ground that I now walk, it's truly remarkable.
That would have been the other road.
I don't always take the time to stop and appreciate these sights. I visited a number of the ruins around Albania, but I'm confident that there are many more to be found.
We got back from Vlore, and today I drove my cart to work, and the clutch wasn't working. It was not engaging. It was super soft, super easy to push until about the last couple centimeters, the last inch. And so I called the mechanic, had him come get the car, look at it, and I just got a text that the new thing is going to cost me 820 euros, which is more than my monthly salary from my job in Albania. There are some other things that I'm paying for that are also costing a bit. and it's just one of those times where everything's coming down at the same time. Yeah, it's not easy. Low cost of living is nice until you get a low salary and then everything else, and it's just, it comes off like this. It ends up happening. It's fine. I'm able to afford it. I think if I move some money from my US account to my Albanian account, I'll be able to, like, I have enough money to afford it. It's just, I try to keep my finances in separate places, and I try not to do any international transfers because it gets hectic and I'm paying unnecessary fees and everything. And so I do my best to just pay for things in Albania with the money that I make in Albania. But yeah, this is really throwing a wrench in my spokes. But I don't have a choice. I need the car. It's just a unfortunate timing because it'll take a week to get here, or probably, and maybe longer than that for the process to get done. My mom is here, and I want to be able to show her around, but some of the places I want to go, I can't get in a normal car that I can get in my van. But I don't have a choice. I just have to do it, and I have to figure out how to make things work. But that's what I do. That's what we do always when things get tough. Put our head down and just keep moving forward. Maybe something nice will come out of this. We'll see.
So the following days were spent getting things done. I was running errands, working, practicing basketball, while my mom was researching and writing. And we would often meet up during the day or the evening for a meal, or just to spend some time together.
I actually prefer this side just because I don't get all the cars right next to me. I feel safer. Any more leaves? And then it has my logo. Yeah, it is. That looks...
The van being broken means I can't do most of the things I'd hoped to do, and can't show my mom the places I wanted to show her. But because she had papers to be writing while she was here and I had plenty of work, we both had enough to keep us busy. This is the first time in my 6 years of living here that any of my family has come to visit. I understand that they're busy. Most of my siblings are married and have children, so of course there are no hard feelings about it. But I underestimated how emotional I would feel about having someone take enough of an interest in my life to fly to the other side of the globe. And not having a car to be able to show what my life really looks like on a normal basis was killing me inside. It's frustrating and caused a lot of unnecessary stress for me because I felt the pressure of not having the ability to be a good host. But my mom, as always, was very gracious and understanding.
Oh, she didn't text you.
And thankfully, on days when we really needed it, friends came through and let me borrow their car.
That looks so trippy. Look at that on the camera.
somewhere nice.
Interesting.
It's kind of nice over here. Very fresh. Looks much nicer than it did when I was last year.
And on one day when my friend Nikolai had a day off, we took my mom to visit the monastery of Shen. It's somewhere I visited with my dad on my very first visit to Albania back in 2017. And I've only returned once since then. It's a pleasant walk through neatly groomed trees and past crystal clear springs to the actual monastery.
These trees are huge.
Being across the border in North Macedonia, it has some kind of different feeling than Pogradec. It feels calm and serene.
Accidentally have it on selfie mode and take a photo of yourself. It used to be. Well, I haven't changed it in a few years at least.
We ventured a bit deeper into North Macedonia, heading up the mountain that overlooks Lake Ohrid for a beautiful view of the area.
So behind those clouds over there is Vlore, one of the mountains. You can usually see it from here, but you just can't because of the clouds, obviously. Yeah.
The next morning, I checked on the progress on my van. It was coming along nicely and would be done soon, but it wouldn't be ready in time to go to the airport. So, being his always helpful and generous self, Nikolai let us borrow his car to make that trek. And for one last side excursion before she flew home, I took my mom to Kruje, one of my favorite cities in Albania. It sits on the side of a mountain with views around every corner. In the castle, the cobblestone streets meander through houses built closely together, giving a small taste of what life might have felt like in this part of the world thousands of years ago. And after an early morning drop-off at the airport, I headed back to Pogradec as I watched the sun light the clouds on fire. The stress and pressure of the last few weeks began to fade, and excitement started to build for the weeks to come. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.